Good morning and welcome everyone to the Trading Success Blueprint, the beginner's online trading webinar. My name is Danny and I will give you the webinar today. So the first part will be more of an introduction to the company and the services we see here in this facility. We're going to have the webinar on the web trader. This platform is not something you need to install or download. It's embedded in the website and you can access it just by logging in with your email and password. The second part will be more practical. We're going to go through basics for trading, and we will discover how to design a position in a way that makes sense and suits to what we're trying to achieve. The third part is usually a bonus, as we would like to cover the majority of the basics, and if we got spare time, so perhaps we'll have an introduction to analysis. Nothing too crazy, just to understand the concept and the approach. Any capital markets and trading information disclosed in this webinar is provided for informative purposes only and should not be construed or applied as an investment advice, recommendation, or a suggestion. Now, because we're limited with time, and I understand that sometimes we need to watch a recap or the recording in our own pace and to specifically recap parts that we want, and to have access to the recording of this webinar, you need to get to our YouTube channel. In our YouTube channel, Ava Trade, you can search for Ava Trade on YouTube. You can find a lot of content, and not just the recording of this webinar, but other topics as well, such as analysis, different kinds of analysis, risk money management, and much, much more. So I recommend you to visit our YouTube channel regardless. Okay, usually the recording is uploaded at the same day, but sometimes it takes a bit longer than that. We will open the webinar with an introduction to the company. As I said, let's get ourselves a nice notepad for the notes. Okay, and we can just begin. So, as many of you know, we are a regulated company. We are here since 2006. We're working with 9 licenses worldwide. If you got any questions or queries, the live chat is accessible here at the bottom left corner. This is to chat with us live or through the WhatsApp. Of course, if you are using a different interface, this button here is not going to appear. So you can contact customer service directly through cs@avatrade.com. This is all the customer service matters. And regarding trading, we can assign a senior account manager. Okay, on your profile, and he can assist you with all the trading inquiries. Now, that means in terms of trading kind of questions that I may ask, that can be assistance with analysis or assistance with risk money management or assistance with getting more familiar with the platform or anything else related to trading. My senior account manager is the person that I need to contact, and I can get a senior account manager or automatically, depending on the amount that I've invested in the account, or via the customer service. Okay, now as I said, this interface is called the web trader. This is the desktop version, what we're seeing now. We also have it for the phone, and it's called the Ava Trades trading app. That's how it's called. Okay, besides that, we have the regular, the MetaTrader 4 and the MetaTrader 5. Okay, we also have Ava Options and Ava Social and some more things that we're going to add very soon in the near future. Now, Ava Social is a very unique app that allows you to follow or copy another trader, and that gives you the ability to enjoy another strategy without basically to do anything. What do I mean by that? That means that if, for instance, I'm following another trader, okay, and I don't have a defined strategy yet, I don't have a plan that I'm about to try, I just want to get ideas and to maybe expand my my knowledge. So by following another trader, I actually gonna get messages, notifications. You can also enable it. You can choose the trader on the app. It's a bit difficult to to show it to you here, but it's also, you see a list and you can pick the trader that you want and see the stats, and also leave a comment if you want. And what will happen is you will get the messages with the positions that this trader is taking. You're going to get the position as a message, and it's for you to either take it the same way or maybe keep it for research or whatever else you want. Okay, but no trades will be opened automatically. You're following, you're going to get messages, the information, and you can use it as you like. Copying from the other end will execute the trades the same way that the trader does. Now, the biggest advantage using AvaSocial for that, to do copy trading, is that you can also custom. For instance, currently, as you can see, I'm with 10,000 in balance. But what, for instance, if I'm copying another trader with 50 or with 100 even, 1,000, okay? Let's suppose I'm copying another trader that has 100,000 in balance. Now, naturally, this trader might take positions that I might not be able to take, right? Because my balance is 10 times smaller than that. But still, I want to copy and I want to have the strategy running on my account. So what I can do is I can change the proportions with lot size that I take. I know we didn't learn still the meaning of what's happening here, but for people who are a little bit experienced, I guess this makes sense. So what happens when I'm copying another trader with a bigger balance is my account might not be able to withstand the same positions. So what I can do is I can change the lot size in proportion to my account size, and I can have the strategy running. Okay, automatically without me doing anything, I'll link my account to his account, and what he does, my account will do as well. Okay, in defer from following, which doesn't execute the positions automatically. Copy trading means automatic positions. Follow means messages, which I can decide what to do with. Okay. Now, of course, the app itself is for free, so I highly recommend you guys to download and see it. It's very accessible, very intuitive. I really think it can help not only if you're a beginner, but in general. I think it's great experience. All right, let's proceed with the web trader. What we're going to do is we're going to look at the things here to the left, beginning from the top. In here, I can find all my personal information about the accounts and the account numbers. In here is trade. That's where we are. Okay, it doesn't matter where I am in the website, by the way. Let's suppose that I am here at the moment, and to get back to where we were a minute ago is either by clicking here on the trade or just by clicking here on the icon. So clicking on that puts us back to trade. In here, I can see my positions. In here, my orders, history, signals. Let's go through that. Okay, so as you can see, there is a tiny icon here. Looks a bit like lightning. And if I'll fold it down, okay, that's how it was in the beginning, if you guys remember. And then I pushed it up, I extended it by the 2 arrows here. And you can see that there are some instruments here with this lightning icon. And that means that it has a signal. It has some analysis. Let's click it. Okay, so we have Aussie versus Canadian. We'll click it. And we've got it to open with all the analysis here. We can as well expand that back to better see what's happening here. And we can also match. Oh, okay, that's the same time frame. Sometimes the time frame in here by default is different than what we have here, so we can change it very easily by clicking here on the arrow down and then to choose what time frame we want. Okay, and with this analysis in mind, I can further place, you know, the lines here the same way and do my own additional analysis. Okay, maybe we'll do that in a minute. But if I just want to use the signal, that's something very easy to do. So let's see. I click to open, and then I choose here the scenario that I want. Okay, for instance, at the moment is bearish. So I can assume that I want to go with a sell. Okay, that's also the type of analysis that was done here. As you can see, the type here is sell. Yeah, and I can just click here, sell. And what will happen is, let's see together. Okay, what will happen is I have got something called take profit. We still don't know what that is. And stop loss, okay, that are already placed for me, okay, automatically when I'm using the signal. However, I can adjust, okay, for instance, if I want to further, you know, adjust and customize the things that I want here to match to what I want. But if I don't want to do any of that, I just click here sell, and as you can see, 3 steps: 1 to get the signal open, 2 to choose a scenario, and then the 3rd will already put us in the market. Yeah, very, very easy. Now, this is one way to use the signals, and from outside that's all right. But let me also show you the difference when I'm going on the app, on the section itself. Okay, now at the moment, if I'll go on the section, I'll click here on the signals. And at the moment, I will, let's choose something else. Let's go with Brent oil maybe. So I'm going to click here on Brent oil, view signal. Before we're going to do that, I would like just to mention that the signals are in here in the signal section is based on the signal production time. So if I'll scroll down, you'll see that this is the newest. And now if I'll scroll down, it gets farther away. Okay, and those signals were made long ago, right? Why does this makes any difference if I'm taking a signal that was just analyzed or a signal from 4 hours ago or 5 hours ago? Well, because the market is moving and the price keep on changing, also the analysis that was done here or the scenario that was analyzed in here, as you can see, this is a sell scenario in here, might change as well. Okay, the analysis that was done here might change as well. And of course, it makes a difference if the analysis was done recently, 5 minutes ago for the current market, or 4 hours ago, and then the market will be completely different. So different sometimes that it makes the signal futile and it's not going to be valuable. Okay, at the moment, let's proceed with Brent oil. I just want to get into the next screen. But before that, if I would like to place those lines and match to the same validity with, see here on the chart, right? And the top, as we can see, the top line here is 77.3. And at the moment, if I will, for instance, if I will see the 77.3, let's try and find it in the chart. So I'm gonna find it. No, it doesn't let us. It doesn't let us see. Okay, that point. And why is that? Because the chart here is daily. Yeah, and what we are seeing now is minutes. Therefore, if I'll click here on the arrow and fold the list, and then I'll scroll down and pick one day, same as the chart here, then I'll get to see the same levels that we see here. And that means that I can place the line similarly to further do analysis on that. Just pay attention to that. It's not really crucial, but sometimes we don't see the levels, and that's why. Let's proceed. So we're going to click here on the sell. Again, we get the take profit and the stop loss. Very good. And at the moment, as I said, I can adjust it if I want to. And I can also adjust the size of the position. So if I'm unhappy with the results we're seeing here, take profit is set to 74.7. Let's say 74.7 is here. Okay, let's flatten that out through our coordinates and maybe paint it in green. Okay, a quick reminder to emphasize the scenario here. In a sell scenario, our take profit needs to be found underneath the price in a lower value. When I sell, my intention is that the value will decrease as the opposite from a buy scenario. That's why also I've painted it in green. And the stop loss is set to 76.6. Let's try that out. Okay, and make it red. Great. Yeah, okay. And in this scenario, as you can see, let's suppose that if it gets to the green line, we can make 146 possible profit. And if it gets to the red line, we can potentially lose 44. Now, if I will increase something called lot size, which is our measuring unit, and that determines the amount of unit quantities we are going to acquire. So if we are going for a sell, and we would like to extend our position to be 200 barrels instead of 100 barrels, then our profit will increase or decrease accordingly. Okay, now again, you don't have to do this if you solely want to use the signal. Again, let me show you how easy that is. 1, 2, 3, and we are on. Everything is set for us. We can just click here sell. But I showed you a little additional step in between to maybe better customize it to fit to your needs. Now, what I was talking about when the signal was produced too long ago, in here, that's not the reason, but it's a great example to show you what happens if the scenario that was analyzed here already, the market was significantly changed. If I'll click here on view signal, and I will try to use the signal, let's expand that, in a cell type, okay, and in here you can see that there are no longer take profit and stop loss set, neither outside, yeah, which in a valid signal, we do have them. And also we display here a message, the market has already reached a level, key level. So if I will try to click sell, we are not enjoying the signal because it's no longer available, because the analysis that was done on it no longer valid. Okay, so just pay attention to that. It means maybe that the market moved drastically and now it's no longer useful. That does not mean that gold doesn't have a signal anymore. It just means that we gotta wait for gold to perhaps to have a signal soon, okay? One more thing to mention is that we are not providing the signal, but the Trading Central, okay, which is a three-party vendor. And the second thing that I wanted to show you here today, beside the signal section, which is the based on technical analysis, okay, signals in here, technical. Okay, as we saw the chart with support and resistance, and I think that just made, okay. All right, this is technical analysis, but what if I want to also do something for my fundamental analysis and understand better what's happening behind the scenes? Okay, so for that, if I'll go a little farther down to the news section, we're gonna click it. And as you can see, it's divided to categories in here. And if I'll scroll down, in this case, I don't even have to scroll down. We see it here. There is related instruments. And with related instruments, if I'll click it to fold it up, we see what can be related to this article here that we can read. That means that from reading this article, we might have analysis for crude oil, gold, Bitcoin, and pound versus dollar, right? That means, for instance, if I'm more focused for the commodities, as an example, I can focus on that. We have the pre-European market. And if I'm more focused on cryptos, as an example, well, that's what we have here. Okay, pre-Asia market as well, Forex. This is all something. This is also something that we can refresh, similarly to the signals, and naturally news will be different. Okay, different articles. And we can use it for fundamental analysis. Another thing that we can do is, if we go further down, we also have the market buzz. And what we can find in the Market Buzz are not necessarily articles at this format, but it's a little different. Let me show it to you. We're going to click on Market Buzz. And then we have either we can display it like this with the bubbles, which I prefer to use it this way, or we can have it as a table with a list. Let's go back to the bubbles. And we can see that in the center, we have we have Apple here with the most mentions. By that, we have Tesla, we have NVIDIA here, we have NVIDIA here, we have Facebook, we have Microsoft, and we have other things as well. And if I'll go with Apple, so let's click on Apple, we can see that there are articles here to the right, but instead of different categories, in here it's divided to topics. So if, for instance, I want to focus on the partnership articles, so I click here on the partnership, and then I can specifically target which article I want and to just read and enhance my fundamental analysis. This one is for you for AI. All kind of things here which you can scroll down and just enjoy that. To further do your fundamental analysis, there are also numbers here with the difference in movements, and also the price may raise, some expectations that we can see here, and that's very useful. Apart from that, of course, if I want to go back to the previous screen, I can click here on the arrow, and I can come back to here. We can also search. I don't want to delay about it too much, but you guys see that this is very intuitive and very easy to use. The last thing that I want to finish with, at least the first part, is our calendar. And by clicking on the calendar, we can get even more. We'll give it a moment. Okay, let's try and reload that page. Okay, and with the economic calendar, okay, with the economic calendar, we can get even more information about the market and the events that are happening. Let's set it for today. And I see that there are a few segments selected here. Let's click here on the reset, and then we start from clean slate. As you can see, this part of the calendar is gray. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there is a red line here, and it makes everything here lower than that is a little brighter white, and above that it's a darker gray, and that means that those events already took place. We can also see the time. Now, the way that the events are displayed in here, let's scroll up, is we have the previous result, we have what we expect, a range of what expect to happen, and then we have the actual result, and we have how powerful we think that this event will affect on the market. It's important to understand that when we get the actual, that's also a sign that those events already took place. Okay, if I'll scroll down like that, and we see everything under this line doesn't have any actual, and that is because it still hasn't happened. Okay, now what if I would like to focus only on the news for the dollars? Now, I don't want to see anything here about Germany or about the pound or anything like that. So what I can do, in here there are 3 arrows. As you can see, G7, European, or all countries. I can just click on all countries and then specifically choose the flag that I want, mark in the box here, and it will also only show me the news for US. And I can also specifically target medium event or maybe high impact events by clicking here on the high, and then we only get to see the high impact events. Now, for today, okay, what if I would like to prepare my analysis for the upcoming week? I don't want to see only what's today on Wednesday. I want to see from this Wednesday till next Wednesday. So I can do that by clicking here on the circle with the 12, click here like this, and then click on the 19. And then there is a blue trail here. I don't know if you guys can see that on the screen that shows me, just a second, excuse me. That shows me that this is where I've marked the dates. And now I can see that this is only high impacts event, and I'm seeing the events from the 12th until the 19th. And I'm only seeing what I have selected. And I can add more flags, but at the moment we're not going to do that because I want to finish and get to the second segment. But first I want to show you what we have here, those icons. In here, I can see the impact. In here, I can see the volatility. In here, the price chart. In here, the event chart. And the most useful thing, to my opinion, is the add to calendar. This way, instead of waiting for this specific event to take place, I can book it to my calendar. That depends which calendar I'm using. For me, that's going to be Outlook. And I will have it on my calendar. And then I can specifically see when the event took place, go directly to the chart that I want, and do my analysis. I find it very useful, and you guys are welcome to enjoy that. If what I've selected here, I want to reset everything and start maybe with a new instrument, with a new currency, and I don't want to go through all the settings again, what I can do is I can click here on this reset, and then I can design again what I want to do to analyze and check the impact and everything as I did with the US. Okay, and again, to reset the dates, very easy. I click here on today. Okay, if it's showing you only previous events, sometimes it stays on the same day, and we gotta click on the circle that marks today, and that will put us back. That will show you from today. Okay, and again, if it's gray like that, you can scroll down, and remember this red line separates the previous events to the yet upcoming events. Okay, now let's finish. I think the first part we went through everything that we should have had. Again, we can click here on the icon and go back to the trade, and now we can officially begin the second part. Let's pick something from our lists here. Let's go with commodities, and let's go maybe with agriculture, and maybe let's go with platinum. Okay, I'll click here, expand the chart, and enable the order entry to further design our position. Let's go with a buy. It does seem a bit, let's go with a sell. I think it has potential to turn around. Okay, all right, so let's set the lot size to 0.01. Let's enable the take profit and the stop loss, and let's go through the toolbar here from left to right. Now, as you can see, platinum is displayed here. We selected it manually from the lists outside. But what if I don't want to go outside and minimize and expand the chart again and again? What I can do is just delete what I have here and then put whatever instrument I'm looking for, and then to pick it from here. Okay, and it will display the instrument. However, if I have the order entry opened, I must click buy or sell to change it to the current instrument. Okay, maybe you need to close and reopen. Yeah. Okay, and we can have multiple charts. We're going to see that in the layout in a moment. Let's bring back platinum, close that. Okay, set that back to 0.01. Now, if I'll keep going to the right, this one we already saw from the signal section. This way we can choose the time frame. So now every candle is 1 day. If I keep going to the right, we can also change the shape of the chart. Like this is a line, in here it's candles. Okay, and in here we can also enable from no crosshair to crosshair. to better do analysis on the candles. As you can see, there are no numbers displayed when I just hover with no crosshair. I must click on the arrow, then click on crosshair, and now when I'm moving with my hand, we do get the numbers here at the left upper corner. Okay, as you can see, each candle is different by 1 day, right? 7th, 6th, 5th, okay? The next icon here is, as I said, we can have multiple charts on the same screen, and that is by clicking on the layout icon here, and we can choose either 2 like this horizontally or vertically, or even 3 or even 4. Okay, to change to specifically what's displayed here is by the blue rectangle around the chart. So if I want to change the dollar yen, I click it. I don't know if you noticed, now I click it and you have this blue rectangle, and I can change it to what I want, maybe have it on silver. Okay, and if I'll click here silver, it will change only for this. Okay, and if I want to trade silver, since we're on platinum, again, we gotta click sell or buy to make it right for the chart. All right, let's go back to platinum, clicking on it, clicking on the chart, this button here for the only chart, and then again click on buy or sell, and then again changing the lot size to 0.01. If we proceed even more, we have the indicators and those lines. We're going to go through that anyway, so there is no need to do that now. Now, with 0, and let's enable the take profit and the stop loss. Okay, with 0.01, it seems that our quantity for this position will be 1. If we, for instance, will go with 0.1, we see that this is 10. What is the reference for this change? How come 0.01 is 1 and 0.1 is 10? Okay, and 1 is 100. And what does that mean exactly? Well, as I said before, lot is a measuring unit, and by changing the figures here, we determine the quantities that we are going to acquire. Now, if I'm going for 1 lot, and this can be found in here as well, let's just click here on instrument details for a moment, and we see that the lot size is 100. Great. We can find all kind of information here. If I'll scroll down, the spread and the leverage, and there are those things we can see outside. So I'd rather explain to you from here. Okay, and with 0.01, with 1 unit here, every movement on the chart will make us $1 or lose $1. Meaning, if for instance, okay, let's speak a little bit about the take profit and the stop loss so we can work with them and design them. Let's get rid of everything written here, which is at the moment. Okay, we are with, let's change it to a sell. Okay, again, take profit stop loss, okay. Click here, sell. Okay. Now, when I'm at the moment when we are with 1, as I have explained, each dollar on the chart will equal to $1 profit or loss. So if, for instance, I think that platinum is going to turn around back to just a second. Let's say to here. That seems reasonable. It's been there yesterday. Okay, and again, I haven't done any analysis till this point. I'm just roughly targeting the numbers visibly from what I see on the chart. Nothing too crazy. And let's maybe use the same reference. So this is roughly $20 now. Let's use it for $20 up like this. And also change it quickly to weeks to see when was the last time that it's been there. Okay, also have the sky marked, 28 October. Okay, so roughly 4 months ago. Not bad. All right, let's go back to days. And now okay, we got this. Let's paint it in red. And also, I think what can be helpful is to understand the range of fluctuations we're looking for. So I'm gonna have, of course, anything that I'm doing now, guys, is not mandatory for you to do. And I'm only doing it to demonstrate and help understand a bit better on the webinar, but it's not something that you have to do in your own analysis. As you can see, just a second, this one gonna be green. Okay, and the reason that I've marked it this way is because when we are with a cell, as I have explained beforehand with the signals, our intention is that the value will decrease. So the take profit design in here needs to be lower than the price. Now, let's make it just a little lower. Okay, now let's set the numbers to what's written here. Take profit, we don't have to remember that because by pointing on the eye here, it actually explains what it means. Okay, take profit close the position automatically if it reaches that level. Let's make it to what we see on the chart. And also stop loss stops the position automatically with a loss. Okay, so this way I can design the positions, take a step away from the computer, and those things will happen automatically if it reaches the price. If it reaches the price, and the reason that I said that twice is because there is no assurance that this will happen. This is to better design the positions, but neither of those prices are guaranteed to occur. Okay, now with this in mind, I can now see that I can make $23, $17. Yeah, not bad, but I'm with $10,000 and I don't really want to make 23. I want to make much more than that. Let's say maybe 20 times more than that seems reasonable. Let's go with 500. Okay, it's quite imperative to my own opinion to have a certain number to aim for with the position. Otherwise, $24 is not really something worth my time. So if I'm planning to hold it for a day, I don't want to make $24 a day. Okay, everybody has his own ambitions. Let's suppose that the target for this position, specific position will be $500. Also, I need to think of a reasonable time length. 500 is good if I make it per day, but what if I make it per week, right? Once a week. I make 2,000 a month. Not bad, not bad. What about if I make it once a month? Yeah, that's maybe will cover my groceries, but I'm not sure more than that. What about once a year? I'm planning to swing with this position. Yeah, not so much, right? Not so much. So I need to think about reasonable time the same way I go to work and I want to just make a sufficient amount. So I think 1 day is reasonable. Of course, we can change it to weeks or whatever you want. At the moment, we don't have any movements, but we need a certain range to expect. As you saw, I've made comparison with the last time that it reached 1,055 to have measurement if the stop loss is too close or not. Okay, but at the moment we don't know the average per day, so the movements are let's leave it as a question mark. And the units at the moment we're simulating with 0.01, but we're going to change that. Okay, so how do we design the position to match the validity written here? One of the ways that we can find the movement, okay, the movement per day. It's important to understand that I'm aiming to find the movement per day. Why? Because I destined this position to be hopefully open for a day. Of course, it can move otherwise, and I might need to keep it for more than that, or I might need to close that. Okay, but the range that I'm looking for is 1 day. Now, how can I do that? Well, one of the things is to check the candles manually and to simply write down the numbers from the previous candles and assume that we're going to get the fluctuations to be similar. Okay, of course, it's very hypothetical, and I'm going to show you something much more efficient than this primitive exercise, but it's something it's something that we can also use, okay, to sometimes to even validate the indicators that we are using. Okay, we're going to have a look at that in a moment. Okay, and those are the numbers from yesterday. Okay, and if I will subtract those numbers from each other, then we get their differences. Okay, and okay, great. Now the problem with this technique is we only took one candle, and one candle can be exceptional. As we can see the difference in candles, there is a difference in size, there is a difference in the shape of candles that we see, and it might not move tomorrow the same way that it moved today or yesterday for that matter. So how can I have a more accurate average? Well, I can either include more and more candles and then divide it by the number of candles, okay, which is a very time consuming exercise. Or I can click here on indicators and in type to filter type AVE for average true range, then click and drag it to the right. Now, as you can see, there is type here, which is Wilders. There is length here, which is set for 14. We have the ATR with 1px for one line. And let's maybe set it to yellow so we won't be confused. And now we have an average per day for platinum based on the past 14 candles. And now we can validate our target and see if it's in the range or out of the range. So if I take the reference from here, not 18.536, let's jot it down. Okay, average range. Okay. Okay, so this is my range. Now let's compare it with a rough analysis that we've done. Okay, this 1014. Let's see how far away this from the entry. We already know that this is $20 away, but again, this is a webinar, and I want you guys to understand the process. So, okay, we can see we subtracted the current price from the take profit, and this is $20 away versus the 18 and a half on the average. So, does that mean that we are in the range? No, we are out of the range, okay? But because it's not necessarily this one day I can maybe I can aim for more movements than the average. It doesn't mean this is a bad thing. It just means that it might not get there. It might not get there, okay? This 18, it's important to understand it's not guaranteed. It's only a reference, okay? So what I can say is if I'm planning to hold it for a day and I'm taking the reference to design my take profit and stop loss, okay, no problem. If I'm expecting for more, maybe 20 or even 30, let's suppose I would expect for 30, that just means that I need to hold this position for a little longer, okay, using this reference. Okay, so it might take it a day, it might take it more than a day. Again, it might even turn around, but I'm gonna use this reference. So 18 is the average, actual expected movement, $20, okay? Now, with $20 movement, which is where we are at right now, how many units do I need to make 500? Okay, because at the moment we make 23. We don't want to make 23. We want to make 500. So how can we design it to make 500? Well, what we need to do is just to divide a target by the movements, and we get the units. Therefore, 500 divided by 20 is 20. Oh, let's do it with a calculator. Okay, so 500 divided by 20 is 25. And now, if I will set here this 1 to 25, it should show me here 500. Let's try that out. Okay, perfect. As you can see, 580, let's make it exactly 20. Oh, now it moved. Okay, so as you can see, we're not getting the flat numbers that we should have had. Why is that? Because the market is moving and our entry is dynamic. It's based on the market execution price. What if I want to target a specific price to launch the position? I click here on the execute when price hits, and that allows me to choose a price, which from that, the position will be opened. Okay, so if I want it to be the 1034 that it was a minute ago, exactly 1034, okay, excluded the spread, now it will show me a flat number. Okay, just a second. Okay, as I said, that excluded the spread, it should be 500. Now, as you can see here, the stop loss is going to give us the exact same comparison. If we're looking at the numbers here, let's just flatten that out. Okay, great. Now, with this in mind, as you can see, let's open our numbers. Now we can make or lose similar amount. So let's write it down. Take profit 1,000. Okay, that leads to 590, and the stop loss that leads to just a second. Okay, great. Now we're looking at ratio of approximately 1 to 1. It's not exactly 1 to 1, but it's very close. What if we would like to maintain this almost 6%? This is 6% of my balance. How can I know that? Well, let me show you a quick equation here. Okay, so with this equation, I can very easily see the percentage that I'm about to make. Just a second. And the take profit keeps slipping away. There we go. There we go. That's much better. Okay, now we get flat numbers. You see, now that the market was balanced and the spread is back to its place, now we make 500 and 500. We can also flatten that out here, which is the relevant numbers to write down. Okay. Now, how can I know that this is 5%? Possible profit is 500. Balance is 10,000. So 500 divided by 10,000 is 0.05 times 100. As you can see here, times 100. This is 5. 5 what? 5%. Okay, so we're looking at 5% profit or loss. And how can we, I think, just a second, I think that my screen is not showing anymore. Just a second. Sorry guys, it seems like the software is not showing my screen anymore. And I don't understand what. Just a second, I apologize for the inconvenience. Maybe now. Okay. All right. I hope that it works. It seems like there is a slight delay between my screen and the software, but I hope that it goes through. Okay. Now let's proceed with the calculation. So as you saw, guys, this is 5% now, 5% of my balance. But let's suppose that I'm happy with the 5% in profit, but I'm not really happy to lose the same amount, right? I want to maintain the profit to be the same, but I want the stop loss to be maybe half, is an example. So what I can do, because this profit and loss is based on the difference between the entry to the stop loss or the entry to the take profit, I can just make it a little closer to the entry. And instead of targeting 1054, it can be 1044. And instead of $20 away, it will be $10 away. And $10 away minimize our loss. Okay, as you can see, when we targeted 44 instead of 54, okay, also the stop loss, the possible loss decreased. Now, okay, this again, if the market will flatten out, you will see here 250 and not 160. Okay, but at the moment, it seems like it's fluctuating, so the numbers keep changing. Now, the last thing that I want to show you today, okay, let's just quickly recap the steps we took here to get to where we are at right now. In the beginning, we saw that the market was quite, I'd say, potentially can reverse. Okay, at the moment it's consolidating. It's not in a sell, it's not in a buy. Then we ranged the targets that we had, maybe make it smaller like this. And then with the sell, we started designing the position. At the moment, we have 0.25, but we started with 0.01. And then we roughly place the targets that we want. And then when we have those levels, we had 1014 and 1054. We wanted to validate them with the average per day to ensure that the targets that we're aiming for are realistic. We saw that the numbers that we aim for is $20 away when the actual average is 18.5. Now, I can compromise and go for 2 days to hold this position instead of 1 day. I don't mind, okay, to make 500. But if I would specifically use this reference in exact to design the position, it could be $18.5 away and not 20. I could even take a precautious and say, I don't think it will move 18. I think it can move only 10 or 15. And this way I can better design my take profit to match to that. Now, we use 20 as a reference when the ATR is 18, thinking that platinum can move 20 in 2 days instead of 1 day, because that's the range. Now, when we targeted those levels, we saw that we can make or lose similar amount. So to finish the composition here, we played with a ratio and decreased the loss while maintaining the profit. Okay, it was a ratio of roughly 1 to 1. Oh, sorry, needs to be like that. Okay, and okay, and if I would like to include the spread, so I'd have to add another 2.8, but we're not going to do that because the number will keep changing. So when I get the stop loss closer to the take profit, that means closer, it was like this, and now it's like that. Okay, then I can lose less while maintaining my profit. Great. So as you can see, this is not difficult at all, and the steps here are very, very easy to understand. We've got the equation to know the units, we've got the ATR to give us the average. With this comparison, we can also make the ratio that we want. And now the only thing left to do is to make sure that we can take the position. Okay, so we can see that the price per unit is 1,034. We have 25 units, and the value is 25,847. Okay. And now we have a leverage of 1 to 10. Sorry, 1 to 10. Okay, and because we are multiplied by 10, that means that we can divide the value by the leverage, and this is the number that we see in here. So I can basically take that and just move the dot to here, and we are great. Okay, very, very easy. And then I can see that with 10,000 balance, of course, I can easily take this position by only using 25% of the available margin. All right, guys, everything that I wrote here should be universal. It means that you can take what I wrote here and you can apply this on any other instrument and it should be fine. I hope that this webinar helped you understand a bit better how to trade. You're all welcome to join us to tomorrow live Q&A. Until then, I wish you all profitable week. Have a good day and best of luck with trading.